our hearing mechanism. It's tremendous, and it's amazing that we can hear sounds that are 0 decibels all the way up to 130 decibels, something like 1/4 louder, and our hearing actually perceives those things. We can, in the cochlea, unravel what frequencies are involved in a complex sound so we can excite different parts of our brain. So when I hear a kick drum that has an attack and it has the low frequencies, it has a lot of different frequencies in it. My brain is being excited in different areas by hearing that one sound. When I hear music, which is a combination of all those complex sounds, my cochlea is unraveling what frequencies are actually in the sound and sending it to the various parts of the brain so I can perceive it. The bottom line is your brain gets all of this perception from what happens in each ear. And everybody's ears are a little different, so we perceive it all a little differently. But we actually have a spectrum analyzer in our cochlea. So we analyze the spectrum of the sound that we're hearing, which leads us back to the time domain and the frequency domain description of a sound. Our ears actually use the frequency domain description of a sound, unravels a complex sound into its frequencies, and sends it to different parts of our brain at different amplitudes so we can perceive it. The interesting thing is, when you talk about animals hearing, they've got similar mechanisms, but different sizes in their ear. And that's why when we talk about dogs hearing, how they can hear so much higher than humans, it has to do with this. And I presume if you went into surgery and they actually changed the size of these bones slightly, you could actually have more sensitive hearing or less sensitive hearing. So they've done tremendous amount of work in terms of understanding hearing and being able to repair hearing. In fact, now they've got cochlear implants. So you can actually implant a cochlea, and actually people that can't hear can hear again, or at least hear some frequencies, which is tremendous to me. And I presume eventually medical science will get to the point where they can take the motion of the air through the eardrum and actually Wi-Fi it to the parts of the brain that it needs to go to. Put it in your ear, a little Wi-Fi distributor, and people that can't hear will be able to hear. I think your hearing is an amazing tool, an amazing instrument, much more than what we're going to be discussing, microphones and speakers and all that. Really just come from the same principles that our ears use, but not nearly as sensitive or as wide dynamically, being able to handle the dynamics of what our ears can or the frequencies. And I think through time, we probably take for granted certain sounds. You hear the same sound over and over, car starting, whatever, and your brain sort of interprets a little bit too, just like with sight. If you don't see the exact picture, your brain thinks it sees it exactly. That's the other thing that we have to talk about. We'll talk about how our brain perceives sound now. So now this is the actual biological mechanism by how we actually get it to our brain. Now, how do we actually perceive it? That's really critical, and everybody perceives it slightly differently. But what is important is to realize this is a really amazing tool that you have on the side of your head here.